Well, we've heard Governor Steve Bullock's plan to start reopening Montana's economy in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. But Montana's next governor will be the one certainly dealing with the after effects of the economic shutdown. MTN News asked the 2020 candidates why they are the person to guide the state to its recovery and how they plan to do it. But first, Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison takes a look at all three Republican candidates.
State Senator Al Chesky of Kalispell is a physician and an Air Force veteran and says that background, along with his legislative experience, makes him uniquely qualified to lead during a health and economic crisis. He expects the next governor will face a big budget deficit, and that means finding creative ways to fund government while not raising taxes.
And quite honestly, we're going to have to find relief for our small businesses, our large businesses, our taxpayers. And that may mean being as radical as opening up our coal trust for this rainy day.
The state's coal tax trust fund holds more than $1 billion. Olszewski says it was set aside for just such an emergency and could be tapped to cover vital expenses as the economy rebounds in 2021. He also says if the budget must be trimmed, crucial services for disabled and vulnerable Montanans should be preserved, while non-essential programs may have to be cut. On the economy, Olszewski says he'd strive to recruit people for jobs in rural Montana.
We have a lot of people who are sitting saying that they can't get a job. There's no affordable housing in Missoula. Well, I want to welcome them to Glasgow, Montana, where there's safe communities, affordable housing, and high-paying jobs that are just waiting for them to come.
Attorney General Tim Fox notes that his campaign has been rolling out a 15-point plan to guide the state's economy, and that many of those points were drafted specifically to respond to the pandemic and its aftermath.
John Kanoki, my running mate, and I are not waiting until January of next year to actually lead on these subjects. No other candidate for governor is getting this prepared for what lies ahead.
These plans include promoting the battered tourism industry as the economy reopens and funding infrastructure projects to put people back to work. Fox also urged Governor Bullock not to spend all of the $1.25 billion federal funds for coronavirus relief, so some could be used to cushion next year's expected budget shortfalls. Fox said, as Attorney General, he's shown that he can provide steady bipartisan leadership, and that that's what the state will need next year.
We can't have polarizing figures in these leadership positions, particularly that of the governor, who people don't trust, who they don't know what their plans are. They've given us no substantive information.
The third Republican in the race, Congressman Forte, says he's getting input from Montanans to build a business plan to create more good-paying jobs in the state, but hasn't rolled it out yet.
We've been compiling hundreds and hundreds of ideas from across the state as it relates to value-added ag, increased trades education, a focus on education, getting healthcare costs under control, and we're putting the final touches on that.
He also was promising to hold the line on government spending and reduce and reform taxes, although he hasn't laid out a specific tax plan. The former businessman says he can't predict whether the state will face a budget crisis next year, but that he's the best person to lead the state out of an economic hole.
Part of the challenge, however, is not everything was completely rosy in Montana before coming into this. We were near the bottom in wages nationally. And this is really the proposition we have. We need business experience in the governor's office to help Montanans prosper with more good paying jobs.
So those are the Republican candidates running for governor, which is an open seat this year. Tomorrow, we'll hear from the two Democratic candidates about their plans on guiding the state to recovery. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And ballots for the primary election will be mailed to all registered voters on May 8th, just 2 weeks from now.